Okay, so this morning I've got a iPhone 6 Plus Touch IC redo. I don't get very many returns on this repair, but last week I had two. One of them is the one I'm holding. The other one, I'm not sure where she's at. Should be here anytime. But anyways, I fix a bunch of these, but I don't get a lot of returns. These two returns, the only thing they have in common is that they both came off the same spool. Um, so I'm not sure what I'm up against here. I'm going to be looking extra close to find any kind of torn pad or anything like that. I did a video on iPhone 6 touch defect and what I thought it was. Um, the phone in the video, I had had a lot of trouble with it. I had replaced the Mason IC first. It got rid of the gray bar, but still really had a really screwy touchscreen. So I thought, well, okay, and I went ahead and did the Cumulus IC, and it made no difference whatsoever. No gray bar, but it still had a really screwy touchscreen. So I figured, okay, well, the problem's going to be Mason, and I took Mason off of there and I inspected all the capacitors, everything that I could possibly look at to try to find anything that would cause a problem. I couldn't find it, so I put another Mason IC on it, and the phone worked beautifully. It worked great. So anyway, shipped it back to the customer. The customer had it for, I don't know, maybe an hour. He hadn't had it very long, and he shot me an email and said, "Hey, this phone's got the gray bar at the top." So it's like, wow. I really believe this guy. I don't think he like took it out of the package and started bending it. He took it out of the package, and it was flickering a gray bar. So that phone, I had put two Mason ICs and a Cumulus IC on it, and here when he got it back, he had problems. So this is that logic word. I don't know what I'm up against. Let me grab this other camera. All right, get set aside. Let's reverse my cameras. So cable all the way. I've never actually melted one of these, but I always take that cable off of it. I'm a little too jittery this morning to be doing touch IC replacements. I might have to put this off for just a little bit. We'll see. I just now had breakfast, and I was starving by the time I made it to breakfast. Okay. I'm going to show you this board right this second, the way it looks now before I start on it. I wish I didn't have to do this one today. I'd much rather dig in on one that is a paying job and fresh, and I know it's just going to be a routine touch IC job. But no, I got to do the warranty work too. Alright, so there is his current touch ICs. There's the Broadcom, and I have replaced both of them in this phone. Little trailer park capacitors there in the middle. So I've replaced both of these ICs. The Mason chip, I've done it twice. Yet we still have touch issues that I didn't detect. And I'm talking before I mailed the phone off, I give them a little bit of a flex and I really try to check them good. Because I don't like for stuff to come back. It looks terrible on me. I'm just looking to see if there's anything noticeably silly. Like, did I overlook anything? All the balls look really good. This chip is on there very nice. I wonder if I'm going to find a torn trace or something. Because it was extra difficult to get it to work. I mean, I put I put 2 Mason ICs on this one. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and pull Mason and see what it looks like. I'm going to 375C on the display. A couple of iPhone 5 or iPhone 6. This is a shield off the bottom, I think. Whatever. All right. So I always put a shield upside down right here over the PMIC. Which I don't think that really matters. I'm more trying to shield the heat off the processor that's on the other side. The PMIC is not underfilled, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Underfill sucks. And I'm going to shield the Wi-Fi IC up here. I don't use anything real heavy duty on this because I really am just shielding the airflow. I don't want to use heat sinks because when you use heat sinks, it seems like you got to use a hell of a lot more heat to get it to melt. So turn up airflow a little bit. Not too high. I don't know if I got the nerves to do this today. I might back out if I'm too shaky. I don't typically do these on camera because when I get nervous, I get shaky. And this is not a job you can do if you're shaky. You're better off just to stop. So I'm going to start heating the board up a little bit, just enough so I can get flux to flow under the IC here and to sort of preheat the board. A little airflow going. I've actually never done one of these with my filter going. Okay. I can still hear the hot air pretty good. Alright, let's start heating it up. This chunk of black stuff floating around here. Okay. A little too shaky on that one. I don't think I'm comfortable doing this right now. Okay, we're going to have a real good look here at everybody. It's a miracle that I wound up doing running a repair shop specializing in micro soldering and micro VGA rework, because I can do really tiny things and I don't have any issue with super fine motor skills. What I have an issue with is working under pressure. I work under pressure and I start to get nervous. So I think in many other fields I wouldn't have near an issue whatsoever. But when it comes to cell phones, it is super high demand. So everything you do is a rush and in a hurry. And oh, let me show you what that looks like. I just pulled that IC off there. Yeah, and I'm having a hard time today, but I got to do it anyway. All right, here we are. Here is Mason going off the board. And when I lifted it up, I sort of brushed the audio IC. And when you're doing this, you got to try real hard not to touch anything. So I'm fairly certain though the audio IC was not melted, which means I shouldn't have any issues due to that. But if I do, guess who gets to put in the audio IC? Okay. Or reball the one that's there, which, man, if I'm reballing something, it's because there's been something that's went horribly wrong. And I don't have a new one in stock. Because I do not care to be reballing anything. But I will if I have to. Alright. Move some stuff around here. Do I have a clean spot left on my captain? I do. Grab some solder. I'm using some MG Chemicals 6337 leaded solder paste. I'm going to squeeze a little blob out here on my captain tape. I really don't feel like doing it today. It's one thing about this business. People need their shit. They need it fixed. So take it in for a repair. Got to get it back out before you get a bad name. Alright. Add some flux. This will be the first video I've done with the air filter running. Wonder if you can see the smoke sucking into that tube. We'll see. I got to get my stool back. This working hunched over crap. I don't like it. Got a stool I always adjust to the height that I need it. So if I'm looking straight, man, I'm missing it today. That was lovely. Got a big soldering bridge all next to it. I have to pull that out before I put a chip on here. I have to try to remember to talk loud because I think this filter's pretty loud. Some days I just don't have the nerve for micro VGA rework. We're going to need more flux. I'm going to do the got bumped sideways by my unsteady hand. Fixing that with hot air here in a minute. Did a really shitty job today. Okay. Clean it up and see what it looks like. Here's where I'm at right now. Everybody here is pretty well ready to drop a new IC on it. I can't find anything else wrong with this phone. Everything looks good. So maybe I've got a bad spool. I'm going to put another Mason IC on it. So I'm just about ready to drop that IC on here. Let me show you my boo-boo that I'm getting ready to fix. Look at where I blobbed all this solder. I bet you can see it. Huh. This little microscope camera sucks so bad you can't see the bridge I put all in there. Of course, under the big microscope it looks huge. There you can see it. That blob of solder between those three components, and then the one component that's knocked to the side. Okay, so you got the in the far left there's the big inductor, next to the right maybe a capacitor, the one in the middle maybe a resistor or something. It's knocked to the side, so I got to fix that and then remove the solder blob on the three components that's next over to the right. But I'm about ready to drop a new IC on this thing, and man, I'll be glad to see it fixed. Okay, so let me see what I got to do here to pull out my little trio bridge that I've created. I'm going to use my micro pencil on that. Okay. I might try to use the micro pencil on this other one as well. I'm actually going to try it first. I guess get a little gap between them, like that. when I heat the area with hot air, it'll fix itself automatically, as long as there's some flux on the board to make it flow nice and smooth. So let's grab a little bit of braid here and fix my other screw up. It's nice to do these and not have to fix any screw ups, but what kind of an early morning would that be? It's just beautiful. Okay, so buck up's fixed. Man, I hope this fixes this guy's phone. I need to move on. I got 3 other Touch IC jobs to do today. This one has already had this chip replaced twice. This is the 3rd time. The first time was me, and it never worked. It had no more gray bars, but it had line, or not lines, but a row of touch that didn't work right sometimes, and sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. And then I replaced Cumulus. It didn't fix that problem, so I came back and replaced Mason again. It fixed it. The guy got the phone home. No sooner he took it out of the package and turned it on, it was back to gray bars. So I really don't know. All right. About to go ahead and set the new IC on here. Looking down over the audio IC. Here's what we look like. I'm happy with that. Happy enough to drop a new chip on it and get down on my hands and knees and pray that it fixes this phone. Alright. Oh, and as always, down to my last one. I got 10 coming today, and then I got a big order coming from China, but I was worried it was not going to make it in time, and it's not. So I ordered from another company here in the United States. eBay is really way overpriced on these. So I ordered a batch of them from Microscope.com. I think that's somebody that knows Lewis and Jessa. I don't really know who, but they were pretty quick about shipping them. I mean, I ordered like Thursday or something. Today's Tuesday, and they're coming in. Now, the first thing, I've not seen this in any other Touch IC repair video, but the first thing I do with these ICs is I flip them over on their back, and I carefully inspect the bottom of them, because sometimes they'll have a freaking crack or a chip gone out of them, and when you zoom, I got one eyepiece out. When you zoom in on them, you'll spot that little chip, and you'll see where it's got like little internal traces broken. So you got to make real sure your chips don't have any chips. This one actually looks brand new. Some of them you can tell they've been reballed. The road construction out front is shaking the whole building. It's wow. Okay. Anytime I take a chip off, I always mark the orientation, except on iPhone 6 Touch IC repairs. They always face each other. The tops of them always face each other. And after you do so many of these, it's like, how are you ever going to forget? Okay, so that's the way I normally lay my board. Let's get our chip orientation right on the table, so that all I have to do is pick it up and sit it down. Stuff is also light that surface tension goes a long way. All you gotta do is touch it and you pick it up. Come on, let go. It wants to follow around the bigger object. It's like follow the leader. Same thing that happens in outer space. Same thing that's going on in a lot of places here on Earth. You start working under the microscope, it's really cool to see some of this stuff. Okay, make sure to put a bunch of flux on that little trio of dudes over there since I knocked one out of place and I need surface tension to pull it back into place. A lot of this stuff you don't even really have to touch it. You can just kind of nudge it a little bit and then let gravity do the rest. Gravity, surface tension, gravity. All right, make sure the flux is spread all nice and even. I smell plastic melting. Alright. This is that do or die moment. Everybody looks happy. My Wi-Fi IC's covered. I'm going to try to come like up and under from the back. I try to direct my hot air away from anything that I could damage. That's why I'm going over the top of this audio IC and away from the board that way, because that is going to hit the least amount of components. Because the heat kind of follows the airflow. Even though the air hits and goes this way, it's still going to charge forward wherever you're pointing it. So I'm going to get me a drink here. Hopefully I can hold my nerves steady here for a little bit to get this one done. I'm going to do a couple more that aren't so tedious this morning. iPhone 5 botched battery and stuff before I come back to touch ICs, because this one's been really difficult. Gotta be really calm for these. And first thing in the morning ain't a good thing for me, because I'll drink a pot of coffee as soon as I get up. Typically don't like to do this level of repair first thing in the morning. Alright. Moving in for the kill here. Alright, first little jump. Huh. I don't like that. I had to nudge it a little bit to get my next little jump. These ICs, they always do two little shimmies when they go down. It's like they shimmy a little bit down, and then the rest of the way down. This one here did the first, but it seemed a little hung up on the second little shimmy. Those are things you get from doing a bunch of them. And then I'm going to look at it and see if it's sitting level on the board. I'm going to say not level on the board. Well, looks pretty damn good on the board. Let's look at this other side here again. Can't believe how steady my hands look in the camera. I'm shaky today. Yeah, some days you have to do this even when you don't feel like it. This is one of those days this morning I really, really don't want to do micro BGA rework. I want to work on something else, but this dude really needs his phone back, so I'm fixing this today. I'm not putting this off. I'm fixing this today. I'm doing it this morning. I'm getting it out of my way. Let's see if I can get in along this. Go all the way up. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I wasn't happy with the way it went down. Let me see if I can show you what I'm looking like. I don't have any problems taking pictures of this stuff when I'm done with it. All the pictures you see on our Facebook page, that's taken with this little microscope, this one that I'm using right now. Alright, so there's what our balls look like. Pretty good looking balls. Freaking Lewis. If I get the right angle. Well, I'm thinking I'm ready to see if we have touch. Oops. This guy's housing. A 6 Plus touch screen laying around here. Yes, I do. All right, let's use a test screen. I don't like using customer screens for testing because although they have came down quite a bit in price. It always sucks to test with a customer screen and then have a damaged screen afterwards and then own the screen. It's a bite in the ass. But for the sake of testing on this iPhone 6 Plus, I need microphones, cameras, speakers. I need everybody wired in. I can do without the vibrator and the bottom antenna for now. So make sure all the antenna cables are out of the way. You don't want them shorting anything out. I also don't want to sit and reconnect all of them. So, do we get an Apple logo? Sure we will. No Apple logo. Well, when doing this, when you go to power the phone on, it's very important to connect the battery. What time is it anyway? 8. Gosh, can't believe I've been here an hour and a half already. Apple logo. I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras while this phone boots. Make sure there's nothing going to pop up on the screen here to identify my customer. Oh, okay. I'm like way behind. I got a bunch of these to do today. I got 3 more after this one, but those 3 are actually local jobs. People at the other shops around in like 50 miles circle are sending here. So do we have touch? We do. we have touch everywhere? Dropped it up there in the middle, didn't it? And now no touch at the bottom right. No? What's going on with this phone? It might be that I'm rushing it and it's still booting. I'm going to check all corners of the screen here. This phone is definitely doing stuff in the background still. This looks very promising so far. I didn't drop touch anywhere. Let's go over. Right here is where this phone had the problems, where it would just drop touch. And after it dropped touch, it wouldn't work. Like you had to shut the screen off and then turn it back on. And I replaced the Mason IC a second time to fix it. Okay. Okay, this guy did send me his passcode. Alright, I'm going to unlock this screen here. Start testing some stuff. I've gotten to be so paranoid about iPhone 6 touch defect. iPhone 6 Plus for the most part, 6. Typically if it's only severely damaged, I've had to do maybe like 2 of those compared to, seems like dozens of these now. Well, let's test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Working proximity sensor, working microphone. Let's test the other microphone. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Play it out loud. Rewind it and then play it out loud. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we have working proximity sensor, top and bottom mic, ear speaker, loudspeaker. The touch it didn't do anything weird. It seemed a little laggy to respond. So once in a while that's software related on the phone. Could be the chip I put in. I'm going to make sure I'm damn clear about this before I send this back a second time. Alright, so we're going to hit done. Say yes, delete the memo. Yep, we're going to delete it. Now we're going to jog on over and check Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is enabled. Can't really see it, but it is enabled, so I didn't screw up Wi-Fi. So we're going to check ambient light sensor. I'm going to hold my hand over it to make it dark, turn it on. Phone comes up dim, I'm going to pull my hand away. Phone gets bright. So we have a working ambient light sensor. I'm going to do that with the slider open. Let's go dim, go bright. I did not get positive results out of this yet. So we're full bright. Cover it. Screen on. Okay. Working. Okay. Back under the light. We have working ambient light sensor. I don't know if I can show you that or not. I'm going to turn the brightness down. Turn auto on. Leave my hand over it. Want to move my hand. Working ambient light sensor. So a lot of the common defects that you run into on this job, I have not ran into on this. I am running into a little bit of a lag here and there, but it seems to be working beautifully. I'm going to check connectors and everything. I think we can be very confident that this one is solved. I'm also going to open it up with the screen on. And I'm going to push on the logic board here and there. Over on the right side, bizarrely enough, is where this defect normally tends to surface. Seems really good here. Okay, so the next step for me on this phone is another microscope examination. I'm going to ultrasonic clean the board, dry it, look at it under microscope one more time, and then reassemble this phone. But that's a typical touch IC for me. Probably one of the worst ones that I've ever done due to the slightest little bit of a jitter I get when I'm working on these things first thing in the morning. I normally save them for late in the day, but this phone's already been here once. This guy really needs his phone. And what the heck was that? So anyway, this guy really needs his phone. I've been through so many of these that I know there's really not much I'm going to mess up in a way that I can't fix it if I do. Sometimes it really sucks when you mess something up because it can take you a long time to fix it. But once you get a real good feel of your hot air and you're not just like cooking shit, you'll be able to fix your mess ups pretty well. So I think I'm going to stop the video on this one. This phone seems to do great, and I believe it is fixed. We'll see how it does once I fully reassemble it. I'll fully reassemble it and give it a really slight twist and really work with it a lot to try to make sure that this phone does not have any more issues. This is a really nice guy. He's been very understanding about this. It sucks. You know, when somebody's here locally and you get to return it, it's not that bad. You know, fix it and hand it back out in a day. But whenever they got to mail it in, there's 2 days in the trash. And then in this case, it came in on a Friday and I didn't have any chips in. So it had to wait until this morning, which is Tuesday, because I got some in yesterday. So in a case like this, I just had to do this phone this morning so I can get it right back out in the mail to him and make sure it goes back today because I want him to have it back. I got a lot more chips coming, 10 coming today, a crap ton coming from China, but I'm not sure when they're going to be here, so I'm going to keep spoon feeding some of the local businesses in the United States and try to keep some chips in because this problem is just, it's out of hand, and it's like every day I got this stuff walking in the door. So that's it for this video. It wasn't a very good one. I'm a little embarrassed over how unsteady I was doing this, but it still turned out freaking awesome. I didn't overheat anything, nothing moved that wasn't supposed to that I didn't put back, and this will be a happy customer. So I might do a couple videos today. They slow me down quite a bit to stop and talk and do all this crap, so I can only do what I can do. So thanks for watching, everybody. One more little tidbit to add to the end of that video. I always take the little sticker. Off of the top of the logic board because a lot of times it'll melt and it'll draw up. When I was first learning to do this repair, there was a time when I would use that little sticker, this little sticker here, as an indicator as to whether or not I got the board too hot. If I flipped the board over and I seen that sticker was all scrunched up, I knew I got something too hot. So even if you don't get it too hot, that sticker melts really easy. So I stopped using that and I quit, you know, I always take it off the board. Well, today, since I'm decided I was going to do a video on this repair, I accidentally left that little bastard on the board. Forgot about it. And as you can see, what I've done with my hot air, if I can get it to focus, maybe move my hand out of the picture, has done nothing to this sticker. Nothing at all. So you can do this, and if you're running your hot air in the right direction and a tiny bit of shielding, not much heat sinking, but shielding, you can do this without even getting enough heat on the other side of the board to melt that sticker. So I think that has a lot to do with why I'm not running into proximity sensor issues, ambient light sensor issues. I haven't had those issues since the first few times I did this repair. And of course then it was like a nightmare situation to try to figure out how to solve it. So anyway, I might stick this at the end of that video I just did, but yeah, I stopped the video and I came back and I looked, I'm like, oh shit, I left that sticker on there. But the sticker looks flawless. It didn't, you know, you can't tell that it got hot.